Tonight on CTV, tune in for an update on the COVID-19 vaccine in Colorado.
Then you'll hear how students feel about returning to remote learning after spring break, as well as what professors at CSU are making a difference in the name of climate change.
All that and more on CTV, Channel 11, starting now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Robbie Patla.
And I'm Sophia Ridley. On Thursday, a body of a missing man was found at Horsetooth Rock after a 2-day-long search. A Larimer County Natural Resources ranger noticed a car parked at Horsetooth Mountain Park on Sunday and found the vehicle still unattended on Wednesday. The ranger looked up the owner of the vehicle and found that his family had not seen or heard from him in days. They immediately began a search for the man, but due to the extreme weather, had to suspend the search until early Thursday morning. A body was discovered a few hours later, and officials do believe it is the body of the missing man. Investigators do not suspect foul play and will release the identity of the man at a later time.
Due to Colorado's cold wave on the week of February 13th, over 130,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine were delayed. Production had to be halted in Michigan because of the storm that passed over much of the United States. Fortunately, however, this didn't stop Colorado from achieving a milestone in vaccination distribution. This state is close to achieving its goal of vaccinating 70% of people 70 and older. As of February 18th, over 330,000 people in that age group have received at least their first dose of the vaccine. CTV will continue to update you on the vaccination process of Colorado as more milestones are reached.
Over the weekend, a United Airlines flight leaving from Denver to Hawaii had to suddenly return to DIA after an engine failed shortly after takeoff. Passengers reportedly heard what sounded like an explosion. When passengers looked outside their window, they saw that the engine was missing. Debris from the engine fell into a home and soccer field in Broomfield. From the ground, bystanders could also hear the boom of the engine exploding and say black smoke and debris fell from the sky. The pilot issued a mayday call telling air traffickers that they were expecting engine failure. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the incident and say that they will figure out what went wrong.
This semester is rushing by, and with spring break arriving in a little over a month, I took to the streets of campus to ask how students are feeling about returning to fully remote schooling after the April intermission. As has begun, students will have to return to remote learning following spring break in April. This decision is not the students' most preferred.
I don't think it's the ideal situation, but I feel like it's kind of the best they can do. I know other options included just going straight through with no break or like just kind of days interspersed, and I think it's important to give students that break, especially just for mental health and different things like that.
Some people can adapt pretty easily, but for me, I know that I need in-person instruction in order to do my best.
Despite the circumstances not being in their best interest, students understand the precautions and support the decision.
I definitely think that due to the situation that we're in, I think that it's the best idea so that we can recoup and sanitize everything again just for the coming up semester.
I think definitely the university was put in a difficult position because of what they have to consider the safety. Again, it's that trying to figure out what's the right balance between maintaining a higher standard of education and also keeping people safe.
This academic year may end online, but what will next semester look like? Students are hopeful and optimistic about the future.
Once vaccine rollout accelerates, then maybe the pandemic will lessen to a point where in-class and hybrid classes are more prevalent.
I think we're going to move back eventually. The when is the real question.
When is the real question indeed? Only time will tell what next semester looks like for the CSU community. Now, we hand it over to Sarah Fowler live in the studio to fill you in on 2 chemistry professors at CSU who are making waves with their research. Sarah?
Thanks, Robbie. Recently, 2 CSU chemistry professors have been awarded the COTTRELL Scholar Award based off their hard work and new innovations to the science community. We caught up with Joe Zaradrani to hear why receiving this award was so special to him.
Chemistry professor Joe Zadrozny was awarded the COTTRELL Award for using his scientific research innovations about studying the properties of molecules to further his teachings at CSU.
We wanted to study the magnetic properties of molecules, how to control them by design. Fundamental challenge that has really long-reaching impacts.
The award gives Zadrozny a chance to knowledge his students and the opportunity to give them more of an experience in the field.
half of the award is actually to do something educational. And what I want to do, or what I propose to do in there, is to integrate some of the graduate instrumental analysis type of classes with some advanced inorganic chemistry undergrad classes to give grad students experience teaching undergrads about techniques, and also to get hands-on experience with a lot of the more advanced magnetic techniques that we have in the department available.
Zadrozny is proud of his findings and hopes that others take away from his experience and learn how much more science is than just research.
Humbled by the award because of the teacher-scholar nature of it. A lot of, when I was kind of growing up in the world of science, we tended to think like research is all that matters, but research doesn't matter if you don't tell people and you aren't able to educate people about like what's the important thing you discovered, why is it cool, and so really the education and teaching part is an important part of science, and to be recognized for all of that together, research and education, makes me feel really good.
Professor Jeff Bander also received this award and wrote me at a later date, expressing his appreciation for the award. Both professors plan to improve the organic chemistry innovations at CSU soon. Back to you, Robbie.
Thanks, Sarah. Well, Rams, don't go anywhere.
Because we're going to be right back with weather with Zaya Hiley, where she walks us through whether or not to expect some more snow in the coming days. Stay tuned.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. I'm Zaya Hiley, and we have been having such nice weather recently. But tonight, if we take a look at our current conditions, we have dropped down to 22 degrees, and we have that wind coming in. I know I felt it. It's 10 to 20 miles per hour, which makes it feel like about 13 degrees. I know I'm personally a wimp, so I will be bundling up as I leave today. And our moon is at a waxing gibbous, so it's working its way up to our full moon on Saturday. And if we check out what it looked like today on campus, it was just a beautiful day. We had blue skies just like yesterday. And you may have noticed a little bit of puddles on the street as that snow continues to melt off with these warm temperatures. Nothing too crazy though, you can definitely break out your bike. And we did see some geese on campus. You know, they're not social distancing, a little ridiculous if you ask me, but overall just such a beautiful day out. We had the wind blowing. It picked up later in the day, but it was really nice this morning. And now we can check out our overnight lows. So the cold air, like I said, is coming in from the northwestern part of the country. So up here in the top, we have Craig is hitting it at 9 degrees. Gunnison really feeling it at 3 as well. But on the eastern side, it's a little bit warmer. We stay within the 20s with Sterling, Burlington, and Lamar all at 21. Colorado Springs as well. And then Pueblo gets up to 24. And then for tomorrow's highs, it does get actually colder. We're expecting snowfall across the state. So you can see on the top here, we have temperatures in the 30s. These are where you're going to expect the most snowfall. So Craig at 32, Vail at 34, Denver and Colorado Springs also getting some snowfall, and Lyman. But in the southern part, we have a little less snowfall. You can expect only about 1 inch. So we have Alamosa at 47, pretty warm, Pueblo at 41, and Lamar at 46. But if you are in Fort Collins, you can expect snowfall later in the afternoon. So as you can see, we have our high of 35 and a low of 17 with the afternoon snow. So maybe if you go into class, it'll be clear, but then when you come back out, there will be snow. So our sunset's at 5:46 too, so our days are getting a little longer, which makes me happy. And overnight, you can expect an accumulation of 1 to 3 inches of snow. And finally, we can check out our 5-day forecast. So on Wednesday, like I said, we'll have an 80% chance of snow. And then on Thursday, we stay the same cold temperatures, but it does clear up a little bit. On Friday, the sun comes out, we get up to 39, but then pretty much throughout the rest of the week, we're staying in those high 30s. So we've got 38 on Saturday, 37 on Sunday, and there is a small chance of snow on Saturday. So look out for that.
And that is all I have for you for weather, but please don't go anywhere because Robbie and Sophia have you covered with more news after the break.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. We are jumping right into a story about recent updates on how to protect Mother Nature. Ren, can you give us a bit more information?
Well, Sophia, the Bennett Western Climate Resilience Roundtable may sound like something out of a modern King Arthur storybook, but one professor at Colorado State University is showing how pivotal this group is to climate change in Colorado and the world.
The Western Climate Resilience Initiative was created in November 2020 and was sponsored by Senator Michael Bennet, one of the U.S. Senators from Colorado. The initiative's goal is to develop a collaborative set of priorities for Western climate resilience.
You know, a lot of movement in Washington, D.C. right now is moving towards sort of, kind of climate policy. And a lot of voices and interests and concerns that we might have out here in the Western U.S., they often don't get heard amidst like kind of the larger political process that is maybe dominated by the coast.
Professor Chang was chosen to offer his insight and experience along with others in a group called the Bennett Western Resilience Roundtable.
So I was invited to talk to kind of represent kind of the broad issues around forest health and wildfire, and kind of contribute that perspective given my role at CSU as a professor in the Forest and Rangeland Stewardship Department.
He goes on to explain that the initiative and roundtable are good starting points for combating climate change, but the biggest impact will come from a change within.
While the Climate Resistance Roundtable is comprised of state leaders, there are several ways students can get involved with climate change here at CSU and in the community. One way Professor Tony Chang recommends is applying to become part of the field crew at the Colorado Forest Restoration Institute. And speaking of changes to all things green, Robbie, I hear you have some news on one of CSU's landmarks.
That's right, Ren. CSU's historic oval will be less photogenic for the next several months while crews replace the stormwater pipes which lie beneath it. The original stormwater pipes date back to the 1950s and are due for an upgrade, and this project will alternate among sections of the oval until late August 2021. This may be a concern for some, bringing to question how this project may affect the trees. Luckily, facilities management has put this into account and planned to take on this project, keeping all the historic giants intact. To help protect them, facilities management mapped out the oval from above, making sure to mark where all the crucial routes are in order to ensure that this project sustains the centerpiece of campus.
The polarization of our country seems to grow every day. I asked college students what they think about our politics in our country. In college, students start to form their own opinions away from their parents. But are college campuses a safe space to share these opinions with both administration, professors, and students?
I'd say when it comes to professors, yes, I can share what I think politically, but honestly with students, I just think people are way too judgmental right now.
I'd keep my opinion to myself because I don't need to share it if I don't have to. And I feel like that sharing it, you can just cause a lot of unnecessary conflicts.
Occasionally feel safe about sharing my political views with people on campus.
A study done by the Knight Foundation, which is a nonprofit that provides grants for journalists and arts programs, found that 68% of students say the climate of college campuses prevents them from expressing their true opinions. So what is the solution to the division in America's political atmosphere?
I think people should just be independent and think what they want to think.
I feel like people are just way too glued to their own opinions and ideas these days, and they won't have a mindset that they can change through other people's ideas.
It's kind of listening to each other and finding out what issues bother other groups and trying to figure out those issues.
According to a Pew Research study conducted in 2014, political animosity has risen by 22 to 26% between Democrats and Republicans. CSU student Liam Robenheimer ended our interview with some advice. Be open to new perspectives. I can honestly say interviewing these students was very interesting, and it was great to see our generation want to find ways to bring us together.
Students now have yet another option for food in the LSC. In January, Mama De Luca's, as it's being called, opened up as an expansion to Subway and is now the only pizza place to be running in the LSC. They provide a selection of signature pizzas, pastas, boneless wings, as well as allow anyone to craft their own pizza. Not to mention that their slogan reads, "Fast, delicious pizza." So if students are in a rush to get to their next class, they don't have to worry about being late.
All right, so pineapple.
Just come down and try it. We're open Monday, Wednesday at 9, and then Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 4, and so forth.
Oh man, with all this pizza talk, I could really go for a slice.
Okay, pineapple, no pineapple.
Oh, I have to say pineapple all the way.
That's what I'm saying.
Heck yeah. Woo! All right, Rams, well that's all the news we have for you tonight. Stay tuned after the break to hear from Ellison Hubbard about all things football.
It's not...
Here she comes. I, Krista, take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
The ceremony was a blast. It was just like this surreal moment of my dreams are coming true. When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said, "Oh, I apologize. She won't be taking you in as a client." We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to. And sitting there in that small, cold room, I wanted to cry, just thinking, what did we bring this kid into? We're simply asking to treat our family the same way that you would treat any family.
How's it going, Rams? Welcome back from the break and to another Hubbard's Huddle. I'm your host, Ellison Hubbard. This week we are taking a look at strictly football, starting in the Mountain West and going all the way out to Indianapolis to talk about some recent NFL trade buzz. So with that being said, let's break the huddle, starting with some CSU action on the turf. Over what has been a pandemic-filled year, Rams football has had some brutal luck when it comes to playing some actual matchups. Last year, their spring ball was cut short due to COVID-19, and their 2020 season has had a similar result. After it was all said and done, Coach Adazio's first year in Fort Collins only consisted of 4 out of the 8 originally scheduled games for his team. With this year's offseason practice kicking off, I was able to interview 3 CSU football players to get their outlook on the upcoming spring.
Last year, the Rams' spring ball ended pretty early because of COVID-19. Now that we're in 2021, players seem a little bit more optimistic about their spring ball coming into this year.
I feel like spring ball will finish up this year for the fact that there's a lot of regulations and like different things that we do to make sure everybody is healthy and ready to play, as far as numerous COVID tests every week.
And while they feel optimistic about spring ball, senior tackle Barry Wesley also has high hopes about his team this semester.
You know, I feel good. We have a lot of older, experienced guys coming back, and we also have a lot of younger guys that need help. You know, the older teammates that we have are going to be able to help our younger teammates with that experience and understanding what we're trying to do.
Senior running back Marcus McElroy is also excited about the kickoff for spring ball. And this year, the running back from Colorado has specific goals set in place.
Personally, right now, my goals are trying to just become a student of the game, really trying to figure out concepts, really understand sort of the deeper things that go on, understanding defenses, understanding offensive situations, and then being able to put myself in the best place possible to, you know, be a dominant player this spring.
Spring ball is the Rams' focal point now, but the upcoming season is their ultimate focus for the rest of the year.
No, I'm very excited. I wish we could play CU one more time, but we've got some very good opponents. I'm excited to go to Iowa, and I'm excited to bring Vandy here. I'm just excited to play football.
This was Ellison Hubbard reporting for CTV.
Ram athletes and Colorado State fans alike are surely hoping that CSU is able to host fans when they open their season against South Dakota State on September 4th. Now, taking a look at Carson Wentz and taking a look at the college ranks and jumping to the pros, trades are inevitable around the NFL, and quarterbacks are always at the peak of discussion. The buzz over Carson Wentz being traded was no different coming in the last week, and those rumors finally came to light after the Eagles shipped off their former number 2 overall pick to the Colts just last Thursday. Here's the conditions of the trade. Philly gives up Wentz to Indianapolis for a 2021 third-round pick and a conditional second-round pick that could turn into a first-rounder. According to multiple sources, Wentz has to play 75% of Indy's offense snaps to make that 2022 second-rounder into a first. And with the deal, the Colts got a good one in Wentz after the surprising retirement of their quarterback from last year, Phillip Rivers. Carson Wentz is only one of 6 quarterbacks in NFL history to record 20-plus passing touchdowns and 10 or fewer interceptions in 3 straight seasons. And during his time with the Eagles, the 5-year vet also held the franchise single-season record for completions, completion percentage, passing yards, and passing touchdowns just back 2 seasons ago in 2019. And that was without any wide receiver even touching 500 yards. So even after a rough 2020 that saw him rank near the top of the league in picks, the Colts are looking to recreate some of that magic from Carson's 2017 season. One that saw him as the front runner for MVP, and past all this talk, one thing's for sure, come September, Wentz will have his time to shine in Indianapolis. Now, Rams, here's the part of the segment you all been waiting for, my top highlight play of the week. If you thought last week's dunk was amazing, then this dunk by Minnesota Timberwolves shooting guard Anthony Edwards will blow your mind. Let's take a look at the throwdown that might be the dunk of the year in the NBA. Here we have the Raptors versus the Timberwolves. Boom! Anthony Edwards lands on him, but the dunk was even crazier. Please give me the dunk of the year, NBA. Do not play with me. Watch this. Boom! Hand in the face like he's a running back. Land on him. Ooh, he's laying on him like it's a bed. Good night. Well, that's all I have for you tonight, Rams. But don't go away, because up next is entertainment with Ty Goldbranson. Stay tuned.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Good evening, Fort Collins. Hope you're having a killer week, and welcome to entertainment. I'm Ty Goldbranson. With more affordable housing coming to Fort Collins, some birds almost lost their home. Not just any birds, but the national birds, bald eagles. Bald eagles like to hang out in the 9 cottonwood trees near Zach Elementary, right in the path of construction. All 9 trees were to be taken down at first, but the decision was made to keep all of the trees there. The housing will still go up, but just around the trees now. And the eagles should be just fine, unlike my soul. With camping season around the corner, your favorite camping spot may not be accessible this year. We all remember the Cameron Peak fires. They seem like they were 10 years ago and yesterday at the same time. While it has been months since the fires were contained, there's still areas of the forest that are closed. Some areas have opened up for winter recreation, but the Forest Service said that other areas have to wait until the snow has melted before they could be evaluated. Looks like there will be snow camping in some areas for this year. Why'd they let me keep that in? Why? You may remember from last week, I talked about the Shatter Rage Room here in Fort Collins. Well, this week, I decided to take a deeper look into that unique venture. As it turns out, rage is all the rage today. And after looking into other business ventures, Dylan Goltz and Caitlin Nelson figured this was their path.
We did a little bit of research on other businesses, with a little bit less capital to start. Rage Rooms came up.
On December 20th, 2020, their goal to create this therapeutic business had come to fruition.
You're coming in here and you're having fun. It's not just destroying things. It's kind of changing your perspective a little bit, at least that day.
People can break anything from glassware to flat screen TVs to even the bats.
People have beaten them up to the point where the tips are just flying off and breaking off. I think that it's just really exciting when people break a bat or a golf club while they're hitting stuff. It shows how much power they really were given that hit. So
if you break a bat, we kind of like to display it and use it as like a trophy kind of.
But even in a place that thrives on destruction, beauty can come out of it.
We have a splatter package for all ages, and that's basically put a canvas up on the wall and fling paint around, create like a masterpiece of splattered paint.
I like to say our slogan is delightfully destructive.
While I was smashing things, I found rage I didn't even know I had. And speaking of rage, Dairy Queen has canceled their free cone day for the year of 2021. Just when you thought 2021 might be better than 2020, they take away your ice cream. But I digress. Dairy Queen has made the decision to cancel the event because of the current state of the pandemic. They stated the event usually creates long lines and they feel it's safer to cancel it this year and continue in 2022. Although we lost something in Fort Collins is gaining something back. Aggie Theater has been closed since March of last year and has not been able to reopen until now. The venue will be opening again on February 26th with Saints of Never After, a post-hardcore band, being the first live performance in almost a year. That's like going a year without going to the movies. Wait. Anyway, thanks for tuning in tonight, and be sure to tune in tomorrow for Humans of CSU, and have a good night and a great week.